She called 911 because I locked my own gate. 20 minutes later, a sheriff's deputy pulled up my driveway, not for me, for her. Because when he ran the property records right there on his laptop, he found something Karen never expected. She didn't own an inch of that gate. I did. And if you haven't subscribed to HOA Breakpoints yet, now's the perfect time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you definitely don't want to miss the next story. Trust me, it gets even crazier from here. My name's Daniel, and I live at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac in a neighborhood that looks peaceful from the outside. Manicured lawns, matching mailboxes, a community pond nobody actually uses. But behind that peaceful image was Karen, the self-appointed enforcer of every unwritten rule in our HOA. When I bought my house 2 years ago, it came with something most of my neighbors didn't have: a private side gate leading to a small strip of land behind my property, deeded directly to me. It wasn't shared. It wasn't community property. It was mine, recorded on the county plat map with my name on it. But Karen didn't see it that way. To her, anything that touched a shared fence line was HOA jurisdiction, even if it legally wasn't. She'd been on the board for 6 years, and in that time, she'd developed a reputation for treating her opinions like law. I'd installed a simple padlock on my gate for privacy and safety, nothing dramatic. Just a lock on my own property. I had no idea that single lock was about to turn into a viral neighborhood showdown. Here's the thing Karen didn't know when she picked this fight, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it was in a few minutes, because it's the detail that ends this whole story. But first, you need to understand just how far she was willing to go over a lock on a gate that was never hers to control in the first place. Because what started as an angry knock on my door ended with flashing lights in my driveway. It was a Saturday morning. I was drinking coffee on my porch when Karen marched up my driveway, clipboard in hand like she was serving a subpoena. "You need to unlock that gate immediately," she said. "That's common HOA access. You can't just lock people out." I calmly explained that the gate wasn't common property, it was part of my deeded lot. She didn't want to hear it. In her mind, HOA authority stretched over anything within eyesight of a shared fence. "I'm giving you until this afternoon," she said, "or I'm calling this in." I told her to go ahead. I had the deed, I had the plat map, I had nothing to hide. She stormed off, already pulling out her phone before she even reached the sidewalk. I remember thinking, she's not really going to call the police over a padlock. I was wrong. About 20 minutes later, I heard the unmistakable sound of a patrol car rolling slowly down the street. Karen stood on the sidewalk, arms crossed, looking triumphant like she'd already won. I stayed calm. I hadn't broken any law. I hadn't threatened anyone. I'd locked a gate on land that belonged to me. The deputy stepped out, notepad in hand, and Karen practically sprinted toward him before he even reached my driveway. "He's blocking HOA access," she said. "This is a safety violation. He needs to be cited." The deputy looked at me, then back at her, completely unbothered by the drama. "Ma'am," he said, "let's just take a look at what we're dealing with first." Now here's where it gets interesting, because what the deputy pulled up next wasn't just going to settle an argument about a gate. It was about to expose something Karen had been doing to multiple homeowners in that neighborhood for years, and she had absolutely no idea it was all about to come out, right there on my driveway. The deputy pulled out a tablet connected to the county's property record system. "Let's see who this land actually belongs to," he said, more to himself than to either of us. Karen stood there, arms still crossed, completely confident. "It's HOA adjacent property. Everyone knows that." The deputy typed in my address. The parcel map loaded. He zoomed in on the exact strip of land behind my house, the one with the gate. "Says here," he said slowly, "this parcel is deeded directly to the homeowner. Recorded in 2022. No HOA easement. No shared access clause." "Nothing." Karen's face changed instantly. "That can't be right," she said. "The HOA has always maintained that fence line." The deputy shrugged. "Maintaining a fence doesn't mean owning the land, ma'am. This is a civil property matter, not a police matter. There's no crime here." I could see it hit her right there in front of a police officer, in front of my house, in front of the neighbors who'd stepped onto their porches to watch. She had made an accusation, called emergency services, and dragged a deputy out here over land she never actually had authority over. And here's the part I promised you earlier, the detail Karen never saw coming. That strip of land wasn't just mine. 6 months before this happened, I'd had a survey done because I was planning to build a small storage shed. During that survey, the surveyor found something buried in old county records. The original developer had mistakenly given the HOA maintenance access decades ago, but never ownership. And when the HOA repaved that section 2 years earlier, they'd done so without ever getting my predecessor's permission. Technically trespassing on private property the entire time. I had the paperwork. I had photos. I had the surveyor's written report sitting in a folder in my house. Karen had spent years telling homeowners that the HOA had rights to that land. She'd used that claim to justify inspections, violations, and fines against at least 3 other neighbors over the years. Standing there, with a deputy confirming in real time that she had no legal standing whatsoever, Karen wasn't just wrong about my gate. She was wrong about everything she'd been enforcing for years. Word spread through the neighborhood faster than any HOA newsletter ever could. Other homeowners who'd been fined or harassed over similar shared access claims started asking questions. Some requested their own surveys. A few threatened to sue the HOA for unauthorized use of private land. Karen didn't just lose an argument that day. She lost credibility. Within 2 months, she was voted off the board in a surprise recall election, the first in our HOA's history. My gate stayed locked. My land stayed mine. And the next time anyone in that neighborhood mentions HO, a jurisdiction, they check the deed first. So the next time someone tries to tell you what you can or can't do with property that's legally yours, don't back down. Get your documents. Know your boundaries, literally and figuratively. If this story had you shaking your head, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me what you would have done if Karen showed up at your gate. And don't forget subscribe to HOA Breakpoints, because trust me, this isn't even the wildest story we've got.